Dr. TedSun, Vice Chancellor for SMC University. First, I'd like to thank you for having the opportunity to speak with you concerning global learning and where business education is going. Working with SMC University at a global level has given me incredible insights on how education is moving forward in many parts of the world. So let's get to it. First, let's talk about the quality of distance education compared to the full-time education that the traditional universities offer. There are many challenges in distance education. The first, of course, is the lack of face-to-face contact with the professor. But there are also many similarities as well. The same textbook is used, the same type of assignments can be used, but distance education offers some specific benefits that formal education does not. So for example, student engagement is one of the most powerful features in distance education when it's done correctly. Students can have their comments with the professor and dialogue with the professor on an individual level. In a classroom, you're fighting for space-time. Not everybody can raise their hands and ask questions and engage with the professor. If you're lucky, maybe one or two may be able to get some questions in and the professor can answer them. But in an online environment, every single student can answer questions, ask questions, and discuss with the professor in detail about how the specific theories they're learning can be applied to their life. And in a global environment with theories from all over the world and how it can be applied in a different cultural context, that becomes extremely a powerful tool. The second part of it is that the faculty mentoring changes the dynamics quite a bit. In a global environment, the faculty can be anywhere part of the world. So students can engage with the faculty and learn from them from a cultural perspective like nothing else. When I was at Ohio State University in the traditional learning setting, most of the faculty are around that particular region. So what the students learn can be relatively limited from a cultural perspective. Especially with globalization, the more students can learn from faculty mentoring them from different parts of the world, the more experience they'll gain from all these experts that have practical experience. And the last part that's really powerful in distance education is the application piece. Rather than simply regurgitating information, the faculty can challenge students to apply it to their specific part of the world. From a faculty perspective, that makes reading and grading so much more interesting because I no longer read papers that are simply about a specific topic and regurgitating that topic within one single context of application. I get to read students' papers about how this theory can be applied in Africa, how this theory can be applied in Asia, and all over the world. I get to learn something from that. That makes it exciting for the faculty to review papers and creates more engagement on that side, and as well as the student learning and how we can apply the learning in different parts of the world. So, from an SMC University perspective, one of the ways we ensure that quality is at the highest standard possible is three specific focus areas. The first is what I call the flow-through learning curriculum. In the way we design the curriculum, we don't just apply it so that every course is separate from one another. In our system, every course is connected to one another, mirroring the real world. So accounting is no longer simply a little silo that works within its accounting and finance divisions, but accounting gets to work with marketing. Accounting courses flow right into the marketing courses. Everything becomes connected in that particular way. And also, one of the basic foundations in our principles is the belief in the potential of the students. Since we're working with adult learners, their potentials are tremendous. We don't simply ask them to regurgitate information. Our focus is on developing their skills to be able to apply. So this goes back to knowledge management principles quite a bit, in that people are not just given information in our system. To ensure the quality in our system, we make sure that they can apply it and remember it when they need it. So the skills development becomes another key aspect. So moving forward from the regurgitation of materials that comes with a lot of short-term memory, we get the students to apply it on a regular basis within their context. And the most powerful part is they get to start creating their own theories in their unique part of the world. And that makes learning extremely exciting. The second part of the quality aspect that SMC focuses on is the hiring and retention process for the global faculty. I've created a process where we use core values as a main hiring tool rather than competencies and resumes and the typical titles that a university looks at. What we can always get is people that are PhD qualified, done great research, have published many books and so forth, but the passion is something that you cannot train. When I hire the right type of people, they have incredible amount of passion, and most of all, they care about our students. They care about their life, they care about their businesses and how they're growing in the program. So when you have those kind of faculty members working for you that goes above and beyond the standard processes and policies within the university, that makes the quality extremely powerful. And then we also engage what we call student success advisors, who are giving the many different tools to engage the students at a distance so they have the tools necessary to manage their time. Learning to manage their time in an effective way to balance family, balance work, and their academic careers and their assignments becomes a crucial aspect to what makes quality viable. So students are no longer just rushing to get assignments done, but they're taking the time to put the quality into the work so that they grow at the maximum level possible. Now, let's talk a little bit about the self-proficiency along with the motivation aspects of it. One of the main principles when we engage in when students initially apply with us, is we look at their core values. We don't just look at their surface level motivations like what most others may engage in is, students are looking to make more money, students are looking to advance their careers, students are looking to have some type of achievement for the family and so forth. We don't just look at the surface level motivations. We get much deeper and look at the core values of each individual student. Using those core values, we get a much richer understanding of what the students' desires are at the idealistic state. So that when we work with them, we look at, okay, so if you want to have some type of achievement, what does that mean for you? Is it achievement in the family sense? Is it achievement in the personal sense? Is it achievement in even a spiritual or religious sense? And achievement gets broken down into different categories so that when we engage with the students, what they do becomes much more purposely driven. And that takes care of everything from a self-sufficiency perspective to self-efficacy. When students are motivated and we understand the core motivation of the students, it's so much easier to work with them because we can simply use that to guide them in every step of the way. The other aspect that I was asked to talk about was the difference between the learning process for individual students compared to the corporate education. The one interesting aspect about corporate education is the content may be very similar between the corporate education and what we learn in the graduate programs within universities. It could be the same books, it could be the similar materials, but more importantly, in a corporate environment, the lack of time to apply after the course is over is always a huge challenge. And then even more importantly, the measurements that go into place of measuring what the employee actually learned is another huge challenge. Within our learning process, from an individual student perspective, so the application of knowledge and the measurement of that knowledge becomes crucial aspects. Within the one course, one module time frame, whether it's over 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, depending on the course and the program, we get to measure the long-term impact of what students learn. So if students take on one single unit and they're supposed to master these set of skills, we can measure those skills. We can measure the application of that and teach students how to create time for application as well as create the measurement to determine whether they're going to be successful or not applying that knowledge. So from a student perspective, we can add a little bit more and empower the students to take learning to the next step. And lastly, let's talk about business education and where it's going in the future. From everything we've seen, almost every single university is taking into a more of a hybrid approach. All the traditional universities have some type of online learning in their classrooms today. Professors can teach in the classroom, all the notes are given to them online, a lot of assignments, resources, all of that is online. So the hybrid model is going to be one of the most predominant models for the medium of education. More importantly, the educational methodologies has to move forward, move away from the typical pedagogical perspectives. In the traditional world, regurgitation is the primary mode of education. You read a book, you give an exam, you regurgitate that material. In a global environment, that doesn't work. We've seen the negative outcomes of financial crisis and ethical problems all over the world. Those are all reflections of people simply regurgitating materials, but not really transforming the students at the core level of who they are. For business education to be really powerful in driving the global economy, one has to start looking at how we're educating the students. Principles like constructivism, where we take the students and value what they have, and then develop new knowledge based on their existing knowledge, becomes extremely important. So systemic integration with the real world becomes a crucial aspect. Every single course, every single topic can have a vast amount of integration with the real world. And that leads to the final point in the education dimension. The faculty has to move away from the traditional academic faculty and what I call the practical scholars. These people are actually applying the knowledge, not just knowing it by theory. Just knowing it by theory, sure, we're studying theories from Russia, we study theories from China or US or wherever, but those are pure theories within that world. As the world becomes more globalized, the integration of theories and cultures has to be a predominant factor within education. In order to do that, getting faculty to apply the various theories in the various contexts around the world becomes a crucial aspect. So those that are teaching have to be capable of applying what they're learning. So those are the thoughts that I have. Thank you very much for the time that we're spending here. Have a good conference. Bye-bye.